Hey guys, so within the past few months there has been a decent amount of conflict right here in the pet community, and a lot of it has been about one pet YouTuber in particular. During all of this, I've definitely had my own opinions on everything that's going on, but up until this point I decided to stay out of it because personally I didn't feel like it was my job to tell other pet YouTubers how to take care of their animals. Some of you might disagree with this, but I also do consider myself pretty mature. I am 27 years old, and I really didn't feel like it would be a good personal or business decision to get myself into some of these little online conversations, because conversations usually turn into fights on the internet. But after watching all this conflict transpire over the past few months, I finally decided that I wanted to sit down and film this video today just to kind of give you guys my thoughts and talk a little bit. Some of you might be wondering why my opinion is so valuable, why I think I am allowed to talk on this subject, and why anyone should listen. And honestly, I don't think my opinion is any more valid than any of your guys' opinion. Whether you make videos or you just come here to watch everyone, I think everyone's opinions are just as equally valid. But since I do have an audience, no matter how small it might be, my opinion can actually be heard. So although I don't think mine is more important than everyone, I do realize that I do have a platform, so I just kind of wanted to talk about it today. As you guys could all see by the title, today's video is actually for a fellow YouTuber called HappyTails. She posts a lot of pet videos and she has over 140,000 subscribers at the moment. Some of you may think this is dumb on my part and I should have just went to HappyTails directly with this, either through a private message or just on some other social media. And the reason I didn't do that is because I have seen so many people, other YouTubers and just fans alike of hers, try to ask her questions and just voice some concerns, and honestly everything I've seen so far she just shuts down completely. So although going the public route might not be the first choice of everyone, I've seen people try to go other routes, nothing happened, so I thought I would at least give this new method a try. So my main goal of this video definitely isn't to be any type of a hate video at all. I know no matter what I say, some of you are going to see it like that, but I do just want to say I am coming from a good place and I'm not trying to just hate on a particular person, but I really do have some concerns and that's what I wanted to voice. Also, my fans that are here, please don't go over to HappyTails' channel or her social medias and bombard her with hate comments, because honestly, nobody, myself included, is going to take anybody seriously if you just go to someone's channel and just spew hate at them, so please don't do that. As a creator on this platform, I know that sometimes it can be really hard to differentiate hate from constructive criticism. Some people just want to hate on you no matter what you do, and they're always going to tell you you're not good enough or you're doing something wrong. Some people are really good at giving constructive criticism. They'll say, hey, maybe you should fix this. And some people want to give constructive criticism, but they're just not sure how to word it, and it does come off pretty rude and hateful. When you're constantly being bombarded with all of these comments, sometimes it can be really hard to just take a step back and really try to see what's a hate comment and what are people really trying to tell me, because sometimes people honestly just want what's best for you and your pets, and they're not trying to be hateful, they are trying to be helpful. And sometimes as a creator myself, it can be hard to kind of take a look at yourself, what is wrong with your care and how you can improve it. But the thing to remember is sometimes some people, I know it's crazy on the internet, sometimes people do have the best intentions in mind and they just want to help. So a day or two ago, a situation came up that finally made me want to sit down and address this. Megan, if you are watching this video, I know you can interpret this any way you want, depending on your previous views and opinions of me, but I do just want you to know that I'm not trying to be hateful at all. And honestly, I hope you know I am coming from a pure place. I'm not trying to bully you or put you down, and I'm not trying to be hateful in any way, so hopefully it doesn't come across like that. I do have to admit that there are a lot of care things you specifically do with your animals that I'm not a huge fan of. It is nothing I would do with my animals, but I never felt like it was really my place to speak out about it because pet care is pretty subjective. There are of course basic guidelines and there are some great care guides for all animals online, but in the end each animal is a different situation. Everyone has their own experiences, and pet care is so complex on many different levels that there is a lot of interpretation you can do. So that is why I've never came forward before. As long as the pet is happy and healthy, if you're doing something a little bit different, I don't really have a problem with that. When I do have a problem is when you're putting the pet's health and safety at risk. And in my opinion, the event that happened recently does actually jeopardize the safety of the animals, and that is why I am finally coming out and talking today and bringing this up. I don't know if you'll see this video. If you do see it, I don't know if you'll care at all or just brush it off like everything else, but I really hope that you can at least listen to it and make you think a little bit. So like I said, there are a lot of different care aspects that I don't necessarily agree with you with, but I'm not going to go into all those today. I don't want to have this really long video talking about, oh, you need to change this, you need to change that, Today I just want to talk about the specific situation where you recently got 2 male mice. I don't want to claim I'm any type of animal expert. I don't have any formal education to deal with animals at all. I'm an accountant, what do I know? And I have to admit, I've never even owned mice before. But what I do have is years of experience owning pets, just like you and a lot of people watching, along with a passion for pet care. I have to admit, I'll spend a lot of time researching a pet that I have no intention on ever getting, just so I can be a little bit more informed overall and just have a greater knowledge for animals. I've also seen my opinion on this subject voiced throughout the pet community in the past couple days. Pet owners, especially a lot of mice owners, have really been coming forward saying that they've been in the exact same situation and it hasn't worked out in the end. So I can understand if 1 or 2 people are telling you, hey, maybe you should change this, that you might just brush it off. But when almost every pet community person who has owned mice is saying, hey, maybe you should look into this, I think it's something worth at least talking about. So that is why I'm really concerned about with your decision to house your 2 male mice together. I do know that you've done it in the past and you didn't have any problems, but there is an inherent risk with housing 2 males together. So I'm not really sure why you would take that risk when it is something that can be avoided altogether. On Instagram, I noticed that you did mention if something happens, it's no big deal. You can separate them and get a new cage. But what if something happens when you're not there? Usually you can kind of see when a dominance issue is arising and you can split animals up before it happens. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it is a split-second decision. You might step out of the room for a minute, someone gets a little mad, you come back to a half-eaten and bloody mouse. I know that seems really harsh, but it's the reality of keeping 2 pets together that don't always do well. Yes, they could live together for their whole lives and do great, or they could snap 1 second and turn in little psycho mouse, and then you're left with a situation. If you do decide to keep them together, I do wish they do well their whole life. I would never want to wish that an animal get hurt because of the situation that they're being kept in. I just don't understand why you would take that risk when you know it's there. Even if the risk is very small, why risk it when you could eliminate all of that just by keeping them separate? Another thing is, I do think it's kind of dangerous how you are promoting male mouse cohabitation to your large audience, especially since a lot of them are young viewers. I know it's not our responsibility as pet YouTubers to make sure that our viewers are doing everything right. In the end, people watching the videos do have the responsibility of doing all the research themselves, making sure they know what's best for their situation and being ready for the animal when they bring it home. But the reality is a lot of people do look for us for advice. And when you're promoting something like this, although your situation might work out, that's not going to work out for everyone, and you could really be promoting some bad care advice. No pet owner is perfect, and we definitely all make mistakes. But when you do put yourself on the internet and you're influencing others, you do have to really be able to take criticism, take a step back, look at what you're doing, and seeing if it's the best information to be putting out there. None of us in the pet community are even close to perfect, but we are constantly learning and trying to improve our care, and that is a really important part when you're putting yourself out there on the internet. It's important to always be growing with your pet care and trying to provide the absolute best information as possible. I know one of your biggest comebacks with this is, I've had male mice together in the past, it's always worked out, but just because it worked once, does that really make it right? So if someone goes out and drinks and they drive home drunk and they manage to get home safely without killing themselves or another innocent person, does that make the drunk driving right? Like, if they keep doing it, sure, they did it one time, it worked out fine. There is a risk involved, but they've always been fine in the past, so why not keep doing it? This may seem like a ridiculous situation, drunk driving against putting 2 male mice together, but when you actually look at it, it's the same situation. Keeping male mice together, drunk driving, you've both done it in the past, you've had great success, never hurt anyone, it's all went well. So you're just gonna keep doing this risky behavior just because you've got lucky in the past. I just don't understand why you don't eliminate the risk. You could just eliminate them all in the first place and not have to worry at all. It's just an unnecessary risk that really doesn't have to be taken. That's pretty much all I have to ramble about in this video. Megan, if you did watch, I hope you at least take a little bit of this into consideration. It's completely your decision, of course, they are your animals, but I just wanted to let you know, no one's trying to belittle you, we're not trying to tell you you're wrong about everything. In this situation, everyone is honestly just concerned about the safety and well-being of your mice, along with all of the future mice you could be influencing to be kept like this. Before I go, I do just want to mention that I won't be responding to comments on this video. If Megan decides to comment on here, I will respond to her, so maybe we can have a nice little open conversation, but I won't be responding to any other comments. I'm also going to be monitoring the comments on this video, which I normally don't do, but any hateful comments are going to get deleted. I'm all up for constructive criticism, like I said. If you have some advice on pet care or anything, that is good, but I don't care how much you might hate me or dislike Megan. I'm not going to allow personal attacks on either one of us. Hateful comments don't do any good. Attacking people on a personal level and ganging up on them don't do anything good, so all of those will be deleted. So let's keep it focused down in the comment section. Let's keep the discussion on track, and let's just focus on what really matters, the safety and well-being of all of our animals.